So let's talk about England. Briefly. When were you first called up to England as a youth player?
As a youth player, sorry, I think that was November '76. I think.
And that was under 18s, am I right?
Yes, under 18s. Yeah, I actually should have been. I was called up for the under 15s, but I actually got injured at that particular time. I had an injury to my shoulder, so I missed out on that. And then the next chance I got was the under 18s, where I've been playing like reserve football for Forest.
What was that experience like back then?
It was brilliant. Looking back, I only went as the number 2 goalkeeper. And I'm going to say this, I can't actually remember the name of the goalkeeper that should have been playing, but Ken Burton was the manager at the time. And I think, after watching us training, he pulled me to one side and said that it was me that was going to be starting. So, again, fortunate, but that's the way things sort of panned out. I played all 3 games. We didn't do particularly well, but I got sort of quite good reviews for that tournament.
And was international football any different back then? What was different to club football? Anything that you remember?
Not really. It's obviously different to club football. Getting together with all the other players and sort of feeling a little bit sort of. It's like when you start a new job, you feel a bit uneasy and until you get to know people. And that was the way I felt that being young, the international football was. You felt that you had to show them that you were justified being in the squad with them, especially being a bit younger.
Yeah. Okay, bro. And then kind of 5-6 years down the line, then you're recognised and selected into the full squad, the senior squad. Go on, just give us an insight into what that must have been like. I can only imagine.
I'm just going to go back to like working how I wanted to my career to pan out. And the top thing was to actually play for your country. And it's one of those that it's always in the back of your mind that you want to do this, and to actually get picked into that England squad was like, it's just you're just about there, but you're not quite there. You're in the squad, and again, I was behind Peter Shilton.
This is 1986 now, isn't it? 1986.
No, this is 1985. We went on a tour, and I'm going to tell a lie there. Actually, it was 1984 when I got picked for the first England squad, but I didn't actually get a game until 1985. But like I say, it was a massive step to get into that England squad, and you think you've nearly achieved what you possibly can achieve in the game. And a year later, that was when I sort of made my debut.
Yeah, amazing. So tell us, go on, give us a little insight into your debut again, because I'm guessing, big occasion, pressure, huge crowd again. You're back to where you were as an 18-year-old. How did you cope? How did you deal with it?
Yeah, it was. We were away on tour, so the game we were playing actually the United States in the LA Coliseum. So that pressure was probably not as intense as like when we came back and I played at Wembley. But at the same time, I don't know how to explain when you walk out on that pitch and then you line up and you get the national anthem played and you think, wow, this is what we all set out to do, and I've actually managed it. And then to go on and sort of keep a clean sheet in your debut was like a dream come true for me.
Yeah, bro, that's amazing. So 1986 World Cup, 1988 Euros, 1990 World Cup, and 1992 Euros. So four major tournaments there in the space of like 6 years. and obviously you made a huge amount of caps in that time, 43 across your whole career. Tell us about some of them trips. Tell us about some of the experiences. What was it like?
It was, well, the first one, the '86 World Cup. We all went to train at the Colorado, the air base there, because it was above altitude, because obviously of Mexico, high altitude. And I always remember, sort of after training, Bobby Robson had said to us that everybody had got to go and sit in the steam room for 30 minutes, because that was how it was going to be in Monterrey, where we were going to be playing our group games. So we finished training, we all went back in there, and so we sat there for about 10 minutes, and all of a sudden everybody started to droop down, and it's getting harder and harder. And after like 15 minutes, like everybody's saying, God, there's no chance we're going to play in this at all. So, and we went in there day after day after day, and it didn't get any easier. But when we got to Monterrey, it was nothing like it whatsoever. So it was a bit of a psyche, I think, from Bobby Robson to get ready just in case it was a bit humid and hot.
Tell us about some of the big games you played in over that kind of 6-year period.
Well, unfortunately, I didn't play in the '86 World Cup. I played in the '88 Euro Championships, but I came on when we played Russia, and I don't think we did ourselves justice. We lost 3-1, and that was really the end of that tournament. We needed to get a result out of that game to move on. The 90, I obviously didn't play in because Schultz played that year. But then I played the 92 European Championships, which I played all the games and kept 2 clean sheets. And unfortunately, we got beat by Sweden to go out. I think it was 2-1. But again, just to keep 2 clean sheets in those 2 first games. I always remember we played Denmark, and Peter Schmeichel came up to me afterwards, and he says, "Don't worry," he says, "we'll beat like the next team that they were playing, so that you've got a great chance of going through." And I thought, right, okay, yeah, cheers. And then all of a sudden, it was Denmark that actually won the competition. So I never did actually say anything back to him about that one.
Keep that up your sleeve. So what got you in the team? So if you were looking back and you were the manager, why did he pick you? What was he seeing from you? What got you in the team?
I'd like to think my performances. I think I'd been pretty steady, and it was when obviously Schultz had retired and Bob Robson stepped down. Graham Taylor came in, and I think it was a bit of a like, is it going to be me? Is it going to be Dave Seaman? Is it going to be Nigel Martin? And then the performances and leading up to that first international. And then I think we played Aston Villa away, and I had a sort of bit of a worldy game. And I always remember Graham Taylor ringing me up and saying, "That's just what I needed to see." And then I got a phone call from Trevor Francis the following week saying that he's just come on and told me that you're going to be his number one. So so that was like I can't tell you how I felt after that. So it was something special.
Yeah, wow. And did that kick you on in terms of your performances then? Did that take you to another level?
It did, because I wanted to emulate Shilton again. He played there for so many years, and I wanted to carry it on. And I think, as much as you want to carry it on, unfortunately, I had a couple of injuries, and I got left out of the team actually with an injury. And once I got left out of the team, it was difficult to get back in. And then Dave Seaman came in, and the rest was sort of history.
Yeah. So I'm just flicking back to club here, but and country as well. At this time, this is when the back pass law came in. How did that influence, or how did that affect your game? How did you deal with that?
I felt really quite comfortable with it because, again, just going back to my training, I used to train out, like I said, 2 or 3 times a week, and I actually thought I was a bit of a player. And I think all goalkeepers do. You know, they want to be a centre forward and score the goals.
I've seen you in the box, mate. You are a killer. You're not a player. You're a killer.
Yeah. So no. Listen, don't get me wrong. I mean, when it's different to actually playing in training to actually somebody passing you a ball back with a centre forward running down your throat, and then all of a sudden having to pick people out and everything. And I think I've got the utmost respect of the goalkeepers this day and age because I think they do remarkably well. And I don't think the average person actually realises just the pressure that they're put under, and they have to deal with that ball, and that is the massive change in goalkeeping for me.
So you dealt with that like huge change in the law or the laws of the game really well, and you put that down to some of your like the amount of training you'd done as an outfield player, the amount you'd used your feet, and you were able to then like transition into like a new game basically.
Yes, yeah.
Wow.
Again, I don't know. When I was younger and I used to play out, it makes you feel more comfortable. But like I say, I just enjoyed playing out, receiving the ball, passing it. I used to like just clipping the balls, even in training, just anything I could do to improve myself. And when that law actually came in, that was the time when you had to keep working at it. Even back then, I don't think goalkeepers did an awful lot of work on the back passes and control and playing out. I think it was just taken for granted that there you are, give him the ball, deal with it.
Yeah.
And people dealt with it in different ways. Like some people would try and play, other people would like just first time up the pitch. But like I say, it was as long as people made themselves available, I felt pretty comfortable that I could probably pick them out.
Yeah, I think that's a massive compliment because like you say, some people really struggle with it. Some people actually got injured with the fact they had to kick it more and they had to move more basically and use the feet. So I think it's a massive compliment that you were able to, adapt to a new way of playing so like kind of effortlessly. Really, I think that's amazing.